All right, well, I made myself a note card for the intro because I do ramble. And point one is let's get the party started. So, who's ready to get the party started? Whoop, whoop. All right, so well, first, can you hear me? Good? Okay. If you need me to call me back to the mic, just do it. Okay, so I am Shaila Ortega. I am the founder and partner of Wave, and we are we're a marketing agency and growth collective that fuels you to take risks, build faster, and scale with intention. Oh, sorry, I'm a little shaky this morning. A little bit of coffee. So, prior to starting at Wave or founding Wave, I worked in I'm just going to take this off, standing stills, I think what's making me shaky. Prior to starting at Wave, I was in the tech industry for 13 years. The lights are dim, so you probably can't see, but have a lot of gray hairs from being in tech for that long. But in that time, I got a front row seat to see what it was like to pitch to a room full of investors in the height of when investments were being provided in the tech space. In that time, I led the pitches, I designed the pitches, and really learned what worked and what didn't. Then, in that 13-year span, tech started going through a recession post-COVID, and so saw the other side of it where, goodness, where the dollars were harder to come by, right? Investments were hard to get, and so learned on that side from the PE and VC side how you needed to alter your pitch to really land that investment. In that time, as I stepped away, wanted to find a way to take all that knowledge that I gained from building and scaling these companies and driving 150 million in revenue and how I applied it into my business and how I could share that with other entrepreneurs. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to share this with you, and we're gonna have so much fun. Also, if I get breathy, it's because I get so jazzed up talking about pitches, so just bear with me. All right. First, moment of gratitude. I know you are all getting pulled in so many different directions. As business owners, you have a lot of things going on. So thank you so much for spending your morning with me. I'm just so grateful that you're here. Then, a couple of house rules. First, one, I would love you all to set a goal or intention for our time together. What do you want to learn? What do you want to take away? And then hold me accountable and yourself accountable to make sure that you get what you need out of this session. Second, this is meant to be a collaborative workshop, so we will have natural points where we do some practices and go through some things together, and I won't be talking the whole time. So we'll get to work together, and then we'll get to chat some more about what you're learning as we go through the different elements here. So with that, let's have some fun and move on. Okay, what are we gonna accomplish in our time together? First, why does storytelling matter? Storytelling really should be your secret weapon. It builds connection and authenticity. Second, we'll go into the anatomy. So I'll turn into your Miranda Bailey, so to speak. We'll go into the anatomy of a pitch deck and how to build it in a way that really complements your pitch. Third, we'll dive into the how on your pricing and how to ask for what you want and what you need. Then I promised you some freebies and some resources. So at the end, I'll give you some templates and some resources to make sure that you can take everything that we talk about today and apply it to your business. So I'm so jazzed up. Let's go. Okay. So I told you I wasn't going to talk the whole time. Plus, I need to breathe a little bit. So let's start the conversation. I'd love to know, what is your biggest hurdle in your pitch today? For sure. Yeah, that's a common thing. Having the right pitch and knowing how the storytelling there can really help with that. Also, we'll dive into having some irrefutable data points there that really back up what you're saying can really support that as well. So we'll dive into it today, for sure. Any other? What's your biggest hurdle? And even on the client side, right? I know I mentioned investors, but now as a service-based business, what are some of the things that you're facing? I see a couple of hands. Just shout it out because I can't really see. Yeah. Yeah. Like helping them feel the urgency. Yeah, for sure. I feel that so a marketing agency feel that too. So, common thing. Anything else? Okay.
I'm a local tour guide, and so I service a lot of different aspects of the conventions, conferences, and people walking and so many different levels. I have a hard time getting my 30-second thing narrowed down to some concept that covers all of it
Yep.
without wandering
Ooh.
around and
Hmm. Well, do I have something for you today? I'm so excited. So, yeah, there's a framework that we'll go through that'll help you like really focus that in. That's a very common thing, right? Especially as founders and business owners, we want to share all the things that we do, and then it ends up being like a 5-minute pitch in that elevator pitch. Like, how can we condense that down to the most succinct, clear way? Well, I have a fun template for you that can help really focus that in. But that's a super common thing. Cool. Okay, so common mistakes, hurdles that we face. You all mentioned a lot of these. Things that I've seen in my experience. Too many slides, right? You have a short amount of time to capture the attention, whether it's your investors or a client that you're pitching to. You have a short amount of time. They're busy. They have a lot going on. There's too many slides. 10 should be your magic number, but don't worry, you can always have an appendix. Another thing, too much detail or not enough. Oftentimes, I've seen people write a novel, try to get like 9-point font on that slide. I'm like, girl, no. Or not enough, where there's just pictures. Ultimately, you want to look for and achieve a deck that really complements what you're saying, because having too much or not enough detail, you're leaving room for someone to have to insert their thoughts, and they start trying to solve the problem, and then you lose control of the conversation. Next, focus on features versus value. You want to really show value, the outcomes, the ideal experience that builds the connection, creates the urgency. Excuse me. Then, not being able to tell a story. We'll get into this a little bit more, but being able to connect it back to a story makes it more memorable, tangible, and then someone can actually like feel and see that experience. 5 would be poor visual design. This happens often, but there's tons of resources out there that can support you. Poor visual design is really just a value add to enhance what you're saying. So, on the flip side of that, what is the impact of a good pitch deck? Well, the numbers here, when I put this together, I was talking about it a different way, but I want to talk about it a different way, so we're going to go right or left to right. First, higher engagement rates and close rates. Then, thinking about increased deal size and investment. So let's talk about this on the client side, because I have an experience there. Wave is just about 2 years old. In our first year, our average deal size was about $12,000. In our second year, our average deal size or contract value is about $50,000. And that is because, 1, we swam up market, but 2, we also learned how to adjust our deck, how we needed to pitch to really connect and be aligned with people in that price point. So your pitch deck is really important. It can also help you accelerate the deal cycle as well. Then, if you think about, we talked about this earlier, but it'll strengthen your position as a leader. It'll make you the expert in the room and make sure that you have control of the conversation. The last thing you want to happen is that investors or a potential client has to self-solve the problem or try to solve the problem before you do, because then you lose control of the conversation. Then think about when you have the pitch deck that supports you, it's going to create clarity, you're going to have control over the room, and then that will give you confidence in your pitch. Cool. Okay, so let's dive in. Why storytelling matters in your pitch. I really love that these are right here, so I don't have to go backwards. So anyways, all right. Well, we had to have a Simon Sinek moment. If you can clearly articulate the dream or the goal, it becomes easier to make decisions on how to get there. If you haven't heard the TED Talk or read his book, it's super inspiring, but really connects back to the point when you can sell your vision and talk about the why, you're really building on something that is future casting, right? People can see where you're going. They can see the scalability and longevity of where you're going, which is super important. So, all right, let's talk about the approach. So, with storytelling, there's a couple of things to consider. First of all, when you can connect a story to whatever you're pitching, whether it's to investors or to your clients, it's more memorable, right? In fact, 22 times more memorable. Someone will feel that connection, they'll see themselves in it, the memory recall will be there. It's something tangible for them to refer back to. Then it creates connection, right? You're having a conversation with the person on the other side of the room, and all of a sudden, you're not just a data point, you're not just another person, you're building a valuable connection, and it becomes a really authentic conversation. Then think about it, for you as one that's pitching, it also kind of like takes some of the pressure off. Now you're just having a conversation with someone on the other side of the table versus like the big, scary feeling of pitching something. And so it allows you to show up as your authentic self. Third, you stand out. We are talked at, pitched to, and sold to all day, every day, right? Be the one that stands out. Tell a story, build that connection, and really drive home the points by making it feel real and someone can like see themselves in that experience. So let's talk about the framework. I promised you a framework. So when it comes to storytelling, if you're getting caught up on what stories to tell or how to keep yourself on track so you're not talking about like Aunt Josie's pie recipe, although if your aunt has a good pie recipe, I'd love it. This is a framework that can support you. So first you want to define the problem, right? What is the current challenge, whether it's for your clients or for when you're pitching to investors, what is the problem that you're solving? There's a key point here that I really want you to, as you take notes, underline, asterisk, highlight all of the things. You need to make the problem big enough, right? Investors need to feel the urgency. They need to understand why they should invest in you, so make the problem big enough. Conversely, for clients, same thing, right? Especially in a service-based business, for marketing, creative, HR, all of the supplemental things that make a business run, you have to show them why they need it and how it connects back to what they want to achieve in their business. So then, that goes into the solution. Got ahead of myself. But nonetheless, then find the solution, right? Show that you empathize with them and that you are the one to solve the problem. Finally, deliver the vision. At the end of the day, you're talking about point in time, but you also have to be able to show and deliver the big picture, right? What is the scalability and longevity of what you are pitching? Again, whether to clients or to investors, and how can that make their lives better and how can it make their lives easier? Okay. So I told you we'd do a fun little exercise. And don't worry, I have some good old-fashioned incentives to make sure we get some fun participation. Let's do, have everyone write a 2 to 3 sentence business story using this framework. If you're like, oh shoot, what? Don't worry, I got you. I created a Mad Libs, although where you put yourself is like a little hard to read in this format. Nonetheless, here is the elevator pitch. So I would love for you, if you have a pitch already today, see if this framework can help you elevate or optimize what you have. If you don't have one that you feel really strong about, this is a really good framework to drop it into. Excuse me. So first, define the problem, as we mentioned. Then provide the solution and deliver the vision. Let's take about 2 to 3 minutes. Dream something up, and then I'd love to hear a few. Cool? All right. Do you guys want the lights up for this part, or are you good? Can you see? Could you turn the lights up? Thank you. All right. Does anyone have one like ready to go? You need a couple more minutes. You ready? You have yours? Yeah. Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
So, I'm starting, so at Casey Seltzeria, we've noticed that other breweries don't really focus on offering seltzers, right? When you go, it's usually something they just kind of slap together, they usually put that part into, because they want to express the craft of beer. And I don't love beer, everybody just loves beer, but most people do love seltzers. They're the only growing aspect of the liquor producing. Okay, you can hear me now. Seltzers are the only growing portion of the alcohol market. So what want to focus upon, our solution, is that we are going to solely focus on seltzers, not only hard seltzers, but also NA offerings as well. We also want to focus on the female demographic, which breweries often dismiss or forget. So by being inclusive, by making sure that our product is both premier in flavor and also in environment, we hope to distinguish ourselves by not only showcasing Kansas City, but showcasing the power of women in Kansas City.
Yeah, that was great. That was good. That was great. Yeah. All right, anyone else feeling ready to share? Ooh, yeah. This was like not the right outfit to try to weave around chairs, so there you go.
So, a virtual eye doctor is a technology that aims to reach millions of people with eye problems to whom access to an eye doctor is very difficult or impossible. A virtual eye doctor will deliver the vision that everyone is entitled to by offering a socio-technical solution in their place, by going to their place. So it's a nonprofit organization that will take the virtual eye doctor to people who do not have access to an eye doctor and use that technology to give them the treatments that they need or advice that they need.
So create more access.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great. All right. One more? Anyone? Who wants it? Do you want to go? I'm going to go right here just for. We'll do two more. We'll do her and then you. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. At just one day travel tours, we noticed that the conference attendees are exhausted and often tired at the end of full day of meetings. Our solution is to provide structured playtime via bus tours while exploring Kansas City and making them feel well taken care of. Our goal is to provide a fun event that returns them feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the next day.
Go. Yeah. The framework works. Do you feel good about that?
I do feel good.
Okay, that's the most important part. All right. Okay. It's going to be great. You got it.
I
I was like, HR isn't that exciting. Okay. So at Legacy Inspired HR Solutions, we noticed that businesses 0 to 5 years and nonprofits often do not have HR strategy practices that align with their business strategy, opening them to a lot of liability. Our solution is offering fractional HR support that solves this offering HR support. And hold on, I didn't finish, so I need to look at the other part of it. I was just like, just put me in, coach. So our solution solves this by offering fractional HR support. We envision helping small businesses and nonprofits thrive proactively, reducing risk and allowing them to hire and scale accordingly.
You got it. You crushed it. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like getting it out of your head, right? For sure. Okay, one more. Okay, this guy's had his hand up. And then if we have time at the end, we'll come back and do this. I love that everyone's so excited about it. Okay.
Hi, my name's Chris Winsky. I'm from Kansas City. At Bitcoin Party KC, we noticed that there's not a central educational hub for Bitcoin in Kansas City. We're the first and only. There are 3 across the nation: Atlanta, Nashville, and Miami. Our solution, Bitcoin Party KC, solves this by establishing a brick and mortar location to serve as the first Bitcoin cultural hub in Kansas City. We envision 600,000 people to influx to Kansas City in the next 2 years, and Bitcoin KC is helping these people navigate the Bitcoin landscape as it becomes a popular legal tender. Bitcoin Party KC showcases the power of technology to create more value for artists.
Love it. Solid. And the data points in there, bonus points. All right. Okay. I'm going to hop back into it, but if we get to the end before the 45 mark, let's keep this going. Okay. Run up, and then I'll be out of breath again. What's new? Okay. So, can you dim the lights back down, please? Cool. Okay, so let's summarize. First, we got through our first section. Let's celebrate. Whoop. Storytelling creates human connection. As with that human connection, you will be 22 times more likely that someone will remember what you said in the room. It builds trust. And then think about what that trust, the extension of that, is making sure that you have control of the conversation and someone isn't trying to solve the problem themselves. Then, if you aren't sure where to start, go back to the framework: problem, solution, and vision. 5, when in doubt, Mad Lib it out. At the end of this, there will be a QR code up here so you can grab the presentation from today so you have that template whenever you need it. Okay, I'm going to take a quick drink of water. I guess I didn't need to give you the play-by-play, but here we go. Okay, so now I'm putting on my Miranda Bailey hat. If you're a Grey's Anatomy fan, we're going to go into how to build your pitch deck, what the anatomy of the optimal slides look like. So another point of inspiration, pitching isn't about convincing someone to accept you. It's about framing the conversation so that they feel like they need you, which we were talking about earlier, right? They need to feel like they need you. So let's start the combo. There's one question, but I'm gonna make it a 2-parter. What slide, and maybe that's actually for sake of time, how many slides do you have in your deck today, and how confident do you feel about your pitch deck? And just shout it out, because I can't see it with the lights down. Say that again? 9. Okay. Good on the number. I'll get you there. You're going to feel super confident. Yes. Anyone else? How many slides you got? Okay. It's okay. All right. Okay, so we have one more. Give me one more. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to help you. Let's see by the end of this if you feel a little more confident. Also, I will provide you a pitch deck template after this. So everything we go through in the rest of this session, you will get access to a full pitch deck template. I'll continue to add to that over time. You'll have the link so it'll live on forever. And hopefully that'll help you feel more confident. So, all right. So here we have 2 slides because investor and then your client or service space is going to look a little different. In your deck, you should have 10 slides or less. The ones that we'll go through today, I have bolded. Since we don't have, well, we had the hour together, I wanted to focus on, in my experience and what I've heard from PE and VC firms, as the slides that people tend to get wrong and are actually some of the most important slides in your deck. So we are going to focus on the problem, the solution, and then the ask. With that, one thing here that I have found to be a secret weapon, maybe it's not so secret, but I've found it really valuable, is having an executive summary, whether it's an investor or a client deck. Set them up for success. Even though you are going to be pitching in front of them, oftentimes you have to send that deck ahead of time or you send it as a follow-up. Set the person up for success where they have basically the Cliff Notes version of your pitch and they can quickly decide where they want to go in the deck to get the information that they need, right? Make sure that they have a good experience. They're probably getting tons of pitches in a week, in a month. Be the one that stands out and creates it really seamless experience for them, removes the roadblocks so they get what they need, and then they can give you what you need. All right, client side. Similar, I would say for us, an executive summary has been a big game changer. It empowers our stakeholders and then really gives the rest of the executive team the Cliff Notes version. It's been super powerful. Similar to here, because of time, we'll go through problem, solution, and pricing. I didn't include it, but if you are a service-based business, I'm so happy to share the deck that we use today. If that could be any of help to you, just let me know. Let's connect, and I'll send it to you. Or we can grab coffee and go through it together, whatever you prefer. Okay, so problem slide. Okay, let's talk about the problem slide. Just like we talked about earlier, you first, biggest point that I want you to walk away with is you have to make the problem big enough. Whether it's for the investor or for the client, they need to feel the urgency and understand why this is the problem that they want to solve or they should invest in for your solution, or if it's the client side, why they should invest their dollars in whatever solution that you're providing, whether it's creative services, HR services, etc. Excuse me. So the point here, also clear and concise. That'll be the theme throughout the rest of this. Don't be too long-winded, keep it clear and concise. Second would be make sure that you're clearly articulating what the market gap is and what the pains are. In this part, you really want to show that you empathize with your audience, you understand them, and so again, whether it's investors or clients, they see that you are the person to solve this problem. Third, right, we can have big ideas, there could be feelings around it, you're telling really good stories that connect back to it. At the end of the day, you also want to have irrefutable data points, right? What data points can you tie back to that remove all bias and really show the magnitude of the problem that you're solving? Okay. Now we're going to go through the anatomy piece of this and what a template can look like. As a marketer, it pained me to remove all branding, but I didn't want anyone to get caught up that it was so far away from your branding. Here, really look at like the different elements. So there is the green dot the laser? Haha, cool, okay, cool, okay. So a couple of things, and we'll go through some examples to note here. One, problem statement. Use the real estate that you have to catch the attention quickly. Please do not write problem. as the title of your slide. It happens all the time, and it's easy to do, but use a real estate. And then if you need it from like a psychology standpoint, and as a marketer, people read in like a C or S format. So like the first thing they're gonna see is that title. Write a problem statement there, right? Catch their attention, show how big the problem is, and then have a data-driven supporting statement to really pack it with some punch. Then, I'll stay over here, so I'm on this one. You wanna go into the key impacts, right, that support the problem that you are solving. A couple of things here. Again, don't write problem 1, problem 2, problem 3. You have a short amount of time to keep their attention, so lead in with an action there. What is the current experience for someone, and how can you show that you empathize with your audience? Highlight some social proof, or what is the existing customer experience? And then you want to have a follow-up that shows and highlights the market gap. This combination will show and really frame the problem for investors and or clients. So there's a version of this that works for clients. It's in, we used it at Wave, and again, I can share that with you. Then you wanna have those irrefutable data points, right? Make it big, make it bold, show that, yes, we've identified the problem, it's really big, and we need to solve it, and this is how we're gonna do it. Oh wait, I just jumped ahead. Anyways, let's look at some examples. I thought I was jumping right into the solution. Let's look at some examples here. Okay. Also, let me, disclaimer, right? A poor visual design is not going to prevent you from getting an investment. It certainly is something that complements it, right? This slide is actually Airbnb, one of their first pitch decks. So, like I said, might not prevent you. A good pitch deck, though, will support you in the conversation and really complement the vision. So, in this example, there's a couple of things, right? They use problem. They were solving such a big problem, they could have used that real estate in such a beautiful way, but nonetheless, they also, the visual design isn't really complementing them, and it's the reader or person that you're presenting to really has to like go through and break down and decipher it and read every line. Then it lacks data. There's no data in here. We know Airbnb is one of the first to market, right? They had a big problem that they were solving, but there's no data on this slide. But let's give them some kudos. I mean, it is Airbnb. Okay, they did highlight the current customer experience. They highlighted the gaps, and they empathized with the audience. The lost opportunity is being able to really showcase the magnitude in a very easy, digestible way. So, on the flip side, while they did use problem as their title, they do very quickly get into what the problem is, right? And it's highlighted. So out of everything on the page, the problem is highlighted. So my eye goes right there. In addition to that, they have a ton of data that's irrefutable that really complements and highlights what that problem is. Then they show that they empathize and understand their audience by highlighting that current experience. That simple visual design makes it so easy and quick to digest. And that's the slide. So, okay, we're gonna move on to solution. So really, this is just the flip of the problem. Theme, keep it clear and concise, right? You wanna make sure that you can quickly articulate what the solution is that you are providing. This goes both for investors and clients. Second, go into the gains. What experience or ideal outcomes or, ideal outcomes. I was gonna say a third thing, but my brain stopped working. So, the values versus features. That's why you have a slide to support you, right? So what is the experience? How do you make their life better? And then really make sure that you double down on the value versus the features. This again allows you to make sure that you can tell a story and you're connecting back, you empathize, you understand them, and it creates that human connection, but also shows that you understand the big picture. Another key point here, for your solution side, it should not be what your product is, right? This is why you want to go into value. What is the value? What is the experience? How are you changing their lives? that's what you want to put here. What are the objectives? There's another slide that you would showcase either your product, the features, or your deliverables, right, if you're a service-based business. Then you want to connect it back to the vision. When you are talking about the solution, sometimes it can feel point in time. If you connect it back to the vision, it shows the scalability and longevity of whatever you're pitching to the investors and truly even your clients, right? Like, what is your vision for them? Is it consistent, repeatable revenue? Is it to have a seamless experience with your employee onboarding so you can scale quickly? Those are things that, again, kind of like diffuse the conversation, but allow them to see how whatever you're pitching solves their problem and then makes their life better and supports their business goals, which is important. Okay, let's look at a template. Okay, similar to the problem, you want to have a solution-oriented statement. Use the real estate that you have. Data-driven, right? The more data you can put in there, the better. Okay, then here, key impact. You want to make sure that, again, don't put solution 1, 2, 3, optimize that. If you're like, what should that tagline be or that key phrase? ChatGPT is a great tool, right? On the fly. You can plug in whatever that current experience is and say, give me a header for this section, and it'll do that for you. I also am happy to help you. But make sure you use the real estate in a way that makes it very digestible for someone that's consuming this slide. You also have to consider that when you are pitching, whether to clients or to investors, there's two things going on, right? They have a slide in front of them and they're listening to you talking. People cannot multitask when it comes to that, so make sure that your slides are complementing what you're saying so they can remember it and it reinforces what you're saying in the conversation. Second to that, it'll make it really easy for them to have the memory recall when you ship it to them either before or after, and it just, again, like really supports you in that conversation. Okay. Ooh, let's look at an example. Okay, here. They use solution. That's their title. There's lack of clarity in the intro. I actually have no idea, right? It takes me reading through each of these bullet points to understand what the solution is. The design makes it really hard to comprehend what's going on, and my eye's not sure where to land. So my brain is spending more time trying to like digest the slide than read the information. There's a lack of focus on impact or value here. What they do well is highlight the future experience, but it's from a feature-based and not a value-based. So if, like from an investor perspective or from a client perspective, it's really hard to make that connection. Then there is just a lack of clarity in the market gaps or the things that they're solving. Okay, here's an example of a good one. Just so you like, wow, how easy it is on the eye. Again, visual design, if it's not your cup of tea, there's tons of resources, so don't let that get in your way. What this slide does well. First, clear and direct intro, right? They immediately call out that they are the only integrated PRM solution. They have a quick focus on impact by saying that, and then underneath here, it's kind of, I mean, it's blurred for me, but maybe it's my vision. They talk about the outcomes, right? The actions, the outcomes, the experience, and then they dive into very seamlessly, right? What is that customer experience going to be like, and how does it change the daily lives of the people that they're supporting? Then reinforces the market gap by using words like only and one platform. It shows exactly what they're solving. So let's summarize. 1, told you it was a theme. Less is more, right? But there's a sweet spot. Don't just have pictures and don't write a novel. There's that sweet spot in the middle. Make the problem big enough. I told you, I really want this to be one of your biggest takeaways. So I'll say it probably 10 more times. Make sure the problem is big enough so they feel the urgency. Always connect back to the vision for scalability and longevity. Visual aids are always a really great complement so someone can easily understand what you are delivering. And then, when in doubt, template it out. tons of resources. I'm gonna give you a free one today, and then there's some other great ones that I can share as well. Okay, so this should actually say how to ask for what you need, but I didn't get it updated. So pretend that says how to ask for what you need, because we're gonna dive into the ask slide now. Okay, so common theme, clear and succinct, be very clear in your ask. With this, a little bit of an asterisk, if you're in the room having the conversation when you're pitching this, you typically have a lead in to build into your ask before you move into that slide. But when you get to that slide, it should be very clear what you are asking for in terms of the investment, or on the client side, what the investment is for what you are delivering to them. And then you should have a breakdown of that investment, right? How will that investment be allocated? Tying it back to objectives is always a really great way, because then they can see, oh, my dollars are going here, and then that will help accomplish X. Third, especially when talking about money, you need to have very clear visuals. Make it very simple for someone to understand where the dollars are going. Don't let things get misconstrued or tucked into a long paragraph. Have very clear visuals on that investment allocation. This goes for clients as well. So let's just dive right in. So for investors, you want to have the ask, right? Super clear. What they do here is they have the number just outright. They have almost like an executive level summary. It's super succinct. Says exactly where those funds are going to go. And then in these areas, they share how that money will be allocated and where it's spent. A piece here that I didn't include, but is a part of the pitch deck template that you will receive. When you have an ask that includes things like anything go-to-market related, you do need to have a slide that lines out what your ideal go-to-market is, and then it's like a secondary breakdown of where those dollars are going. So if it's for marketing and sales heads, if it's for technology, if it's for different marketing investments like events or paid ads, etc. I'm getting a little in the weeds. Nonetheless, you do need to have that secondary slide, because a lot of times investors will want to see that. Then we're going to flip over to the client side. I'm sharing what has been the biggest difference maker in our business to grow our deal size. We actually have a two-part slide that we share when we send out our decks. We actually send our decks out 2 to 3 days before the pitch, so they have time to consume the information. With that, we give them, this effectively is like a secondary executive summary, where it breaks down what the different offerings are, what problems we're solving for them. We then break down and tie it back to their objectives. We clearly state what the investment is and then what the payment schedule is, so there's no guesswork. When I was in tech, I was a marketing leader, and you had to fight for every dollar. And so understanding what it took for the CEO or the rest of the executive team to really buy in to that investment is what prompted this slide. Secondary to that, we break down each of those offerings into this secondary slide that breaks down the deliverables. The trick here is you want to tell them just enough and not go too into the weeds that you're using so much jargon, but give them a clear understanding of how that investment's being allocated. Next is, in our business, and I'm sure most of you are like this, we are about partnerships. We want to create long-lasting relationships, and so we put it right up front. As our partner, these are the requirements, right? We're 50% of the equation. This is what is required from you to make this a successful partnership. And then just a reminder on what that investment is and how it's going to be allocated. This truly has helped us increase our deal size. It also makes it really easy to push a land and expand motion in our business, and it also has decreased the time to close the deal. I don't have it today, but I will share this. So if you're interested and want to see what the rest of our deck looks like, I'm happy to share it. Just let me know. Okay, let's summarize. First, be clear in the ask, right? Be very clear in what you need to either solve the problem or to support your client. Make sure that you are breaking down just enough the details on that investment allocation. Always tie it back to that objective or vision so they can say, okay, this is the dollar that I put in, and then on the other side of that, these are the amazing things that are going to change the experience, whether it's in the market or for the client or for the growth of their business. Then you want to make sure that you have strong visual aids. Money is something that you do not want people to misconstrue. Be very clear with the right visual aids to complement whatever that ask is. Then, when in doubt, template it out, right? Tons of great resources out there. Okay, now, recap and resources. So, just like tie a bow on it, the impact of a good pitch deck, right? Higher engagement and opportunity close rates. Also think about deal acceleration. Could also increase the deal size or investment. Third, or second as it says on here, but third would be to strengthen your position as a leader. And then the asterisk is it makes sure that you control the conversation in the room. Then, finally, having a very clear and concise pitch will give you the confidence to show up authentically, build that connection, and just like stand in your power when you're pitching to the investors or the clients. So, some resources. Grab the presentation. And actually on this slide, just filling out one of these will give you both. When I created this, I had a different experience in mind. So just grab one of these QR codes and you'll get both the presentation and the pitch deck template. And there's a form there, so it'll go nicely to your inbox. You will not get spammed, I promise you. I just wanted to make it really easy for you to jump back into your inbox versus saving another link right in your notes. Okay. I don't think I see any other phones up. Yeah. That's right. Marketing automation. I have a flow desk code if you want it. It's cool. Okay. Anyone need more time? I think we're good. Okay, cool. All right, so what we went through today is a workshop that we are actually releasing early next year. It'll be a 2-day workshop live here in Kansas City where we go through each of your pitch decks individually. We build it together and then do some pitch practice together. So if that is something you're interested in or want to stay in the know on the different things that we'll be doing next year related to this, join that wait list. You'll also get some freebies as being some of the first access. Finally, if this resonated with you, you feel like you need some support as you scale your business, you think about your go-to-market position for scale, we are offering a discount for global entrepreneurship attendees. So if you want to grab a strategy session, please do. Also, no pressure. If you would like to grab coffee and just chat and connect more, just let me know. In the emails with the resources, my LinkedIn is in there. So let's connect, grab coffee, whatever works and however I can support you. Cool? Okay. Oh my gosh, it's only 10:36. So, thank you so much. This was amazing. I hope that, one, if you recall back to the goal you set at the beginning, I hope you got what you needed out of this. If you are inspired, you need more support, you need more information, let me know. I'm here. And again, thank you so much for spending your morning with me. Have a great rest of the year and good luck in 2025.